Three, two, one. We're streaming in three, two, one. Go. Hey, everybody. Welcome to the Exit Earth podcast. This is a Tuesdaycast with our hosts Lauren and Steven and myself. I'm James, where we talk about stupid issues in the news. It's intelligent topics from unintelligent people. So without further ado, here we go with our top story.
Oh gosh.
Oh my god.
Oh my goodness.
No.
Oh my god.
That's not good.
Oh my
Get
god.
out of my box.
Oh, into a car.
Oh no.
Ooh. Are there kids?
Hey, at least it stopped. At least it stopped.
Do we know if there's kids in there or not?
Out of control.
We've
school
got
bus
breaking
slides
news.
down
Tsunami
icy street,
alerts
hits
posted
car
for
in
much of the West
Massachusetts.
Coast have just been canceled or downgraded.
There were no injuries
They were
in the
triggered
incident.
by
Only
a
minor damage wasn't
7.9
found.
magnitude
There were
earthquake
20
in the
middle and
Pacific
high school
Ocean.
students on
That's
the bus.
southeast of Alaska's Kodiak Island.
A tsunami warning extended into British Columbia, Canada, and a tsunami watch was issued for Washington State, Oregon, and California. The alerts have now been canceled, but a small tsunami was generated near Alaska. John Blackstone is in San Francisco. John, good morning.
Good morning. Well, we're now told the tsunami danger here in San Francisco and along the West Coast is past.
Yep.
The tsunami warning.
There we go. For some reason, we're having a little audio issue here. But anyway, 20 middle school and high school students in the bus. So, you wonder. It didn't look like there was a lot of snow. I mean, I don't understand why school is still open if it's so icy, but.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, sometimes the roads, it depends on what state. Did it say what state this was in?
Massachusetts, which should be used to snow.
Yeah, they should be.
They should salt and stuff like that, you would think. But, I don't know, that's just, stuff like that is crazy.
I know in my city, they don't even touch bus routes anymore. And really, there'll be snow several inches deep and not even touched, and there'll be a school bus coming down it.
Yeah, and then you
They
and
don't
I
even
both
care.
know about driving in snow.
How many? I don't mean to put you on the spot, Lauren, but exactly how many accidents have you been in so far?
8.
Ooh.
8.
2 rear end. Well, my first one, somebody backed out into me. 2 rear ends. 1 in a ditch. 1 into a neighbor's car, which their car was already damaged, so they didn't care. But, and then, minor tap bumps that I made.
But you didn't hurt anybody, thankfully.
No, I've never hurt
And you never
anybody.
got hurt yourself.
I was a little banged and bruised up because my front airbag never went off, and when I went into the ditch, and I did total my car.
Airbags hurt.
Well, my airbag didn't go off, so my head
Oh.
slammed against the steering wheel, which really hurt.
When my airbag went off, my chest was in pain for over a week, and I had all sorts of bruises. It was
Yeah,
really
so
bad.
he's totaled his car in snow, and I've totaled my car in
Well,
snow.
I shouldn't really
that
talk
bad,
either.
It just wasn't worth fixing, so
I-
the insurance company considered it a total.
I totaled the car. I hit a telephone pole at 35 miles per hour.
Ooh,
Yeah, it snapped my passenger's collarbone like a twig. It was pretty bad.
ooh.
Anyway, enough about that depressing stuff. Let's move on to our next topic. I know you guys got a lot of opinions about this one. 12 camels are disqualified from Saudi Arabian beauty contest for using Botox.
I can't even keep a straight face.
You
I'm
should
sorry.
not do that to your animals. If it is a show animal, let it be natural. We used to show our dogs, and let me tell you, it is cutthroat, and so much stuff is artificial.
let's hear more about your cutthroat dog competition.
No, the handlers, they will bait other dogs, which means that when you're walking your dog, you know how in a dog show you walk your dog around the ring?
Yeah.
Well, other trainers will go and throw treats in front of your dog to get them to act up so that they get judged bad.
Are you
That's
serious?
horrible.
Yeah, and they're not supposed to do it, but there's no rules against it still. And a lot of handlers chalk dogs so that
What's chalk?
It's like, I don't really know exactly, but it's like you rub it on the dog's fur and it gives it a better color.
That's horrible.
So someone might Botox a dog, is what you're saying.
I wouldn't put it past them.
Oh my
I mean,
God.
honestly,
I mean, I've heard of show dogs getting steroids and stuff like that so they look buffer.
For real?
Yeah. Like
Oh my
for the
God.
bigger dogs and stuff
People
like
will
that.
do anything to win, I guess.
Yeah.
well,
And it's like, I don't know. I've always liked mutts more than purebred dogs, personally.
they're healthier too.
Really? I didn't know
Yeah,
that.
because purebred equals inbred.
Yeah.
That does make sense. More
So,
congenital
like,
defects.
Pugs, if it weren't for humans, they wouldn't live past infancy.
Well, this
because they can't drink milk from their mother because of how their mouths are. And I think it's bull terriers, I want to say. Their mouths are like under, like behind their nose, so when they go to eat or drink, their nose goes under their water and gets smushed against food bowls, and
I mean,
it's purebred dogs. There's a lot of issues.
Well, this explains a lot about why they were cheating. The animals were ejected from the King Abdulaziz Camel Festival taking place near Riyadh for violating strict beauty contest rules. Cash prizes for camel competitions at the 28-day festival
Whoa.
what?
total $57 million.
Oh
So the
my
pressure
God.
to cheat can be intense. 28 days of camel festival.
How many $1 million?
57 million USD.
$7 million for a camel.
The rules of the beauty contest state that animals found with drugs in the lips, shaved, dyed in any parts, or on with their changes in the natural form are not allowed. It's like
Look at the pictures of the camels. I mean, competitions are fierce when there's
They are.
$57 million on the line. But I mean, if you don't want to cheat at that point, just like get a really good camel. Like if there's
everyone's-
that much money on stake, just get a really, really good camel.
But then other people are going to cheat, and theirs will be better.
Well,
Even if you have the best camel, theirs
well,
will be
obviously
better.
they got disqualified, so
the festival features prizes for camel racing, obedience, hair art,
hair art.
and the best photographs of the animals.
Oh my god, it's literally like a beauty pageant because beauty pageants, they have like, you get judged by showmanship, your hairstyle, and your photography.
Do they ask the camels how they're supposed to make peace in the Middle East and the the question for a portion of the contest?
Tell me, camel, how do you feel about global warming?
Oh my God. It was moved from the remote desert to a purpose-built structure outside the capital last year. So, and of course, no women are allowed to engage in any of these events.
Of course.
300,000 people are expected to make an hour-and-a-half trip to attend the Camel Festival. I mean, God, I'm of Arabic descent, and this makes me feel like it's like people are just going to use this kind of article for fuel for making fun of my people, I think. I
Wouldn't
don't
put it
know.
past anyone.
Yeah, I mean, the whole world's pretty weird with
Oh my
customs
God.
and
Yeah.
pageants and competitions. I mean, when
a
you
lot
think,
of countries have goat beauty contests and stuff like that.
I
So,
mean, think about it. We do the Olympics, which is just like who can run the fastest and who can skate the prettiest. And
That's true. Nancy Kerrigan. According to this report, attendance is up about a third from last year, with about 300,000 people making the trip. This vision for the festival is to become a global pioneering forum for all classes of people to come for entertainment, knowledge, and competition
Except
regarding
for
camels.
women.
Except for women and Pakistani and Indian minorities that live in these countries, probably. But regardless of that, that's the camel beauty pageant.
wouldn't it be so terrible to find out that this camel has more seniority than you or more worth than you than a woman?
And they
or a
eat camels.
person?
and they eat them.
There's probably not even humans that are.
Well,
worth
it's. I mean,
$58
they still
billion.
have dowry in these kind of in these areas in the world. So how many camels do you think you're worth, Lauren?
All right, Steven, start packing up the camels.
0 camels?
No, I'm saying okay.
Oh, I thought you meant
Okay.
0 camels.
No, 0 would be this. This is okay.
Okay.
Oh my god. All right, let's move on. So we got camels disqualified. Here we go. Oh, I lost it.
No.
Let me bring it back up.
Which one was it?
Guy emails. Oh, here it is.
Oh, this one.
Oh yeah.
Guy, freshman. When a freshman emails every Claudia on campus to find his missed Tinder connection. I gotta.
Looking for love will probably
I
cost
gotta
you a little
admit,
more
though,
these
like-
days, especially if you're using
it's something
Tinder.
on
The app is officially Apple's #1 grossing app, topping the
I gotta admit. I have on many occasions, because I don't understand Tinder's interface very well, super liked people that I was like, oh my god, I just super liked somebody by accident. I wish I could undo that. I really do.
You shake it to undo it.
Oh, you do?
Yeah.
She just tells me how much I know. Don't trust people over 30 with Tinder, apparently.
I've never used
I
Tinder myself.
think it might just be. I don't remember if it was. It was some dating app, and you shake it to undo it.
Well, anyway,
Tinder.
I've got about 5 super likes out there that were like, how do I swipe left? Whoops.
Oof.
I've been talking to this girl for a while on Tinder now. She's still, I don't know. I should have sent her the link to this podcast, so you can see what I'm like, because she's still seeing if I am not creepy. I don't know, Lauren.
I wouldn't define you as not creepy.
Oh God,
I'm joking. I'm joking.
I'm a creepo.
No, you're
No,
not.
you're great.
Oh, okay. Well,
Oh, you can see me twice. I just noticed I'm in the back of yours.
yeah.
But no, online dating's really, really weird. Like, I've had guys where they show up 5 minutes into the date, order a beer, and then say they've left something in their car and literally just leave me. Like,
That's so
I've
weird.
had like 3 experiences with that, but I've also met like really nice guys that
That's
never
still
text
so
me back.
mean.
But no, I think honestly meeting people in person, like I never believed in it, but I mean, even just making friends in person, it's just better.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But I mean, think about how this guy must be obsessed. Like he swiped past her accidentally, and he's like, "Oh, I've got to undo that." And he goes through his contact list at his college and emails every single girl with that first name at his college.
Wouldn't you? Don't they? I think they run back in your feed if you swipe left on them, though. Doesn't he realize that?
They come back eventually.
They come back eventually.
Oh, so there's hope for me yet, huh? Because they keep telling me that people have liked me, and I'm just on the app, and I'm just like, oh God, what if it's like some people that I really just didn't want to ever see again?
Yeah, but no, like, how desperate do you have to be to like specifically find this person, or how amazing does this person have to be? Like, how hot does this girl have to be for you to contact every single Claudia?
I think they have a picture of her.
Do they?
I think they do. Well, they have a picture of her with sunglasses. There's a very small image of her. Let's see if I can find it. It goes to Twitter, I think. She's good looking.
That's, well, both of them are like a good solid 9-10 right there.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah.
I mean, that smile looks perfect. Really good facial features. Just.
But still, desperation.
Yeah, I mean, how desperate does that look as a guy? I mean, sure, it looks almost romantic in a creepy way.
Oh my God. And she got instant fame for this too, or infamy. 24,000 retweets and liked 148,000 times. Were so much that people recognized her in class the next day.
I wouldn't want that kind of fame.
No.
And her mom heard about it on the radio 113 miles north of her campus. That's insane.
Oh God, I would not want that.
I would not want my mom finding.
All because of this total creepo.
And honestly,
And you know that they're gonna try to pressure her into going out with him because like he went to such a length to meet her. But what does the guy look like? I mean, is he like a total creepo or what? I mean,
honestly, that just a stalker alert to me. Like the red flags, no.
I wish I should get a soundboard so I can go. Rrrt, rrrt. My God.
Yeah, we need a soundboard. I think that's a good idea.
Yeah, it's a good investment.
Yeah.
All right,
Soundboards are fun.
enough of this one. Head teacher of leading public schools says he will expel pupils who have a boyfriend or girlfriend. So if you have any relationship at all in school, you'll be expelled. This is at a public school in the UK.
A public.
Yeah, not a private school. Public school.
That's wrong. He should get fired.
What age group?
It's a public school that costs £34,500 a year.
That's not a public school then. It's a private school.
It's probably like a charter school, or the equivalent of such in a UK environment. Because like a lot of the UK has really high taxes for transferring education from for transferring wealth from one generation to another. So a lot of the wealthy parents there will do is they'll get their kids the best possible education possible, so that they're guaranteed a higher echelon in society than, then that way they pass on their wealth. So school prices are like ridiculous in the UK.
Oof.
School is not a place for romantic relationships ever. This is like a total dystopia.
Yeah.
He said, quote, "I strongly disapprove of any boyfriend-girlfriend relationships, and it will always affect any university reference I write, meaning any student in a relationship will definitely get a worse reference from me."
So basically, if you're not dedicated to school 100%, you're gonna fail?
He says, "Relationships can start at university, not at my school. I will be talking to staff, and as in previous years, I'll put together a list of any student with a boyfriend or girlfriend. These students from lower sixth form or year 11, so these are juniors, and these are equivalent of juniors in American high school, can expect to find a new school in September."
Ooh. That just sounds
It's
wrong.
horrible.
Like, what? Do they ban, like, fun, too? Do they ban smiling? How about
You must walk in
lunchtime?
unison,
How about lunchtime?
Should queue up another brick in the wall already. We don't need no education. Yeah, therefore, if they devote their time, it's because he thinks it distracts them from their studies.
I mean, horny boys are going to be horny young boys.
God, listen to how sexist this is. Therefore, if they devote their time to their studies rather than the emotional turmoil connected with teenage romance, they will achieve higher grades and go to better universities.
Honestly, I was single throughout all of high school, and I didn't have better grades, I can tell you that.
And I know somebody who dated for their last 3 years high school and is going to a good university next year.
I think it's a load of
sorry.
BS.
Yeah, you were a little quiet there. I think I got it. All right. I can't believe this.
What's the name of the school? I bet it's like some
Ruthin School. It's been around for 700 years. I don't know how it's been around for 700 years. Look at this guy. What a douche. Headmaster Toby Belfield.
Is that his name?
Yeah, apparently so.
That sounds like a dick name. Master Toby.
All right, now it's time for one of our miniature segments called The Next Big Disappointment. And our next big disappointment is electric cars. Let's take a look at this video.
Freeway. CBS 2's Crystal Cruz is
autonomous
live in
cars,
Culver
excuse me.
City with some safety concerns. Crystal.
There's still no sound.
Hi, Pat. The driver was going 65 miles an hour when he crashed, and incredibly, he didn't kill anyone. But tonight, a consumer watchdog is calling on Tesla to fix some suspected problems. A sleek, black, sporty Tesla totaled, smashed underneath the back of a big red fire engine on the 405 freeway. The CHP says the driver survived and claimed he was using the autopilot feature when he crashed into a Culver City fire engine that was stopped on the freeway, helping another driver.
It looks to me, at first impression, if autopilot was engaged, a serious problem with a robot mechanism that Tesla has not fixed.
Jamie Hort with Consumer Watchdog has been concerned about Tesla's autopilot feature following fatalities in China and Florida, where drivers crashed and died using autopilot.
Which is that they can miss trucks that are in a color scheme that matches the background of the scene they're in, and the radar shoots under the truck.
Over the weekend in the Bay Area, the CHP says this driver told officers he was using the autopilot feature after he was found drunk, passed out behind the wheel. The CHP joked in a tweet the car was towed, didn't drive itself to tow yard. Carl Bauer with Kelly Blue Book.
I think autopilot, the name itself, was some people were criticizing because it maybe suggested more than what it was really capable of.
Tesla sent us the same statement regarding both recent incidents, saying autopilot is intended for use only with a fully attentive driver. And Tesla can check the data to see if the car was...
So, you know, I think it's... So our segment, The Next Big Disappointment, is basically how this technology is not going to pan out and going to suck. So my opinion is, you know, the whole reason I'd want autopilot is so I can sleep on my way to work. That is my entire reason I'd want autopilot. And you're telling me I can't do that? That I got to be fully attentive at the wheel while it's driving itself? I mean, or I'm going to crash into a semi-truck that just happens to be the same color as the road? I mean, that would happen all the time here. I mean, the Daimler Chrysler trucks are gray.
Yeah.
Or not, it's not Fiat Chrysler, excuse me.
Yeah.
I don't know.
I think either all of them have to be autonomous, where they're all going the same direction.
So they all crash at the same time?
No. No, so there's no human error. So, like, all of them...
Like
do you understand what I'm saying?
Right,
like,
right.
They're all on a network, so they all know.
They're on a network, so there's no physical.
They
way
have the ability to communicate with each other to determine what's a car and what's not.
Yeah. Or just not have them at all and have people be attentive, because it's honestly like.
It's misleading.
That's like a kid running around with like that. No, it's like letting a child go free. It's a giant vehicle. Like, why would you... Like, and I know I'm such a hypocrite coming from this, considering how many accidents I've been in. But not paying attention at the wheel is so scary, because it's like a huge machine that could kill people.
Well, according to what I've heard about the self-driving cars, is that they can't detect, like, the way that their cameras work. They have to see, like, the road lines. So if it snows or there's any, like, significant precipitation, or the cameras get obscured by, like, salt or whatever, the entire system breaks down. Doesn't work. Yeah. So I don't know how that would work for at least 5 months out of the year in our part of the country.
I think we have gone in some advances when it comes to cars and, like, sensors and stuff like that. Because, I mean, that's how I passed my driving test.
Right.
Is the little sensors on the side of the car, so you don't hit things. So if you come too close, it goes beep, 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 beep. But, I mean, stuff like that, I think, is advancements. But when you get into, like, Wi-Fi in your vehicle, yeah, because totally everybody needs Wi-Fi while you're driving.
Hey, I need to listen to my Spotify playlist. Don't take that from me. I need that.
No, I agree with...
Why would you ever be in the driver's seat of a car if you weren't willing to pay attention to what's happening around you? I mean...
The guy was drunk. So he obviously thought everything would be okay.
Yeah, I was about to get to that. So Tesla owner attempts autopilot defense during DUI stop. So they mentioned this in the video we just watched, but so this guy got in a DUI and he claimed, oh, it's okay. The car was driving itself. So I'm not technically operating under the influence. And the cop's like, no.
You're still in control of the vehicle.
I don't know. Okay. I'm going to play devil's advocate here because like I said, the purpose of the car is the purpose of self-driving cars to me is so I no longer have to drive the car like at all. So doesn't it make sense that you turn on autopilot if you're drunk?
Are you saying that it's basically you're getting a free taxi?
Well, they want to do that. They want to. Didn't Uber like rent out stuff to make self-driving taxis? I'm pretty sure they did. I'll look it up.
I think they did. But like, you shouldn't be behind the wheel, even if it's driving itself. If you can't pay attention to the road or you're not willing to pay
self-driving
attention to the road.
Ubers.
Yeah, they're already on the road. The self-driving Ubers are. So, I'm sorry. What was the point you're making, Stephen?
You shouldn't be behind the wheel of a car, even if you're not in control of it. If you're not willing to pay attention, or you're not capable of paying attention.
That's like the people manning the machines, like robots and stuff like that. They're already going to do that, but if something goes haywire, you shouldn't be drunk in case something does go haywire. Yeah. That's my personal opinion.
Well, I think the self-driving taxis are perhaps the biggest disappointment because I mean, you know how people are how nasty people are in taxis now. I mean, people will just take a straight-out dump in a taxi while intoxicated. And the only reason they get caught, stopped, or the stuff gets cleaned up is because of the taxi driver. So you're gonna have taxis with absolutely no control. And what if somebody gets in the self-driving taxi and is like in Chicago? It's like, yeah, I want you to drive me to L.A. You know what I mean? What if he flat out just takes the car across the country? You know, what happens if the car runs out of gas and it's a self-driving car? Is it programmed to go back to the gas station when it's done? I've got like a million questions for these things.
That's a really good point.
Question. What happens when it's low on gas? Does it go back to the shop? Does it pull into a gas station? What does it do?
Well, this is my point. Everybody always complains, oh my gosh, robots are going to take over all the jobs and there's not going to be any jobs. Well, there's people that program the robots and there's people that take care of the cars.
Well, it's not only that. The program's only going to be as good as the human that writes it. Yeah. And I haven't, as much as learning machines are out there and can program themselves, I can tell you based on my sources, that the self-driving car is not a learning machine. It's just a clustered if-then else statement. It's just a bunch of if statements in a loop.
Okay.
So it's not really like learning how to drive or making decisions on how to drive. It's
just
it's a program.
If this happens, then move the car this way.
Yeah.
If this happens, move the car that way. Like,
exactly. It's not really like a neural network or anything because there's a danger that it would learn how to drive wrong.
Ooh.
So that's the reason they coded them this way, and you're not going to be able to code for every contingency. And then the classic question is, so if you've got a kid, if you got a car and you got a kid that runs into the road and there's a tree on, okay, let me back up. So the self-driving car is driving along, and a kid runs across the road. Mm-hmm. Does the car hit the kid? Or does the car swerve and get off the lane and possibly injuring the passenger and people inside? And the thing is, should a machine even be making that decision?
No.
And, you know...
And how would it be able to make that decision as it stands now?
Right. It would, like, literally a programmer would have to decide and have to make, like, some arcane calculation that, you know, if there's one passenger in the car and they're over the age of 60, then they avoid the child. If there's 3 passengers in the car and two are under the age of 12, you get what I'm saying?
James, you're getting too deep into this.
How would the car be able to distinguish a kid from like a pole?
They can't right now.
Yeah.
Heaven forbid that kid's wearing clothing that's resembling the road in front of them. Or they'll hit the kid. They won't even notice they hit the kid, just like they hit the semi.
Parents, do not dress your children in the color of the road at the time.
No gray, no white, no blue.
No black.
No black. Especially no black.
All right, so I think that does it for our next big disappointment. Do you guys think so?
Yeah.
So our verdict is that self-driving cars are not going to pan out. They're going to be a pile of crap.
Yeah.
At least as they stand now.
At least as they stand now. Maybe give it 10, 20 years, maybe. But I think they're trying to rush this through the pipeline a little too fast.
We just need to get teleportation on the wheel.
Teleportation?
Yes.
Okay, the problem with teleportation is...
It's not you.
It's it's assembling you here and reassembling you somewhere else. So it's not you. It's a copy of you.
With the same particles.
With different particles, yeah. Think about it.
Oh.
It's not you. You died, and another you was created.
Yeah. At best, you could make a copy of you somewhere else.
Never mind.
Never
All
mind.
your molecules were torn apart. Did you feel pain? Do you think you felt pain?
All right, we'll get to that. We'll get to the macabre ramifications of teleportation in a later episode of Exit Earth podcast. But this article kind of was thought provoking to me. Facebook says it can't guarantee social media is good for democracy. Which, if slash the Donald tells us anything, social media isn't good for democracy. I mean, all social media does, when you really think about it, and I know this is hypocritical since we're running a social media podcast, is aggregate groups of people together, right?
Yeah.
So if people are stupid, the stupid are just going to gather in a larger mass. And transmit the great stupid upon us all. I mean, we've seen it with. I mean, have you ever heard of flat earthers coming together till this year? I mean, you know.
No.
Can't say I have.
I don't know, but this article basically is in response to computer users in Russia that will intentionally alter post status and make traffic and do search engine optimization for articles that favor political for articles. Okay, they basically rig search engines to make articles that would promote their government better. And not only that, there's think tanks that think that there was the Russian collusion with the last election, if it exists. I have no opinion on that, and I'm not going to get into a political subject, but that was part of the thing. So that like news media sites like Russia Today were creating these articles that were inflammatory, and Russian hackers were basically pushing those to the top of social media lists. So there's literally a espionage element within social media.
That's a load of bull. I don't even know what to say about that. I think Facebook should be used for a few things. Cat videos.
Cat videos.
Memes. Family arguments.
Of course.
And finding old high school friends. And that's it.
Not for overthrowing democracies.
Not
or promoting
for
the agenda
overthrowing
or promoting the agenda of Vladimir Putin.
That's horrible.
But, you know, in the same vein, the Arab Spring wouldn't have happened without social media. So it works in the opposite direction, too, that social media provides a platform for people to tear down existing social strata, which is part of the reason that China regulates its use so much.
Yeah. It's crazy. The world's nuts.
Yeah, if one voice can get out, other voices can get out, too.
Yeah. It's just... I don't know, you see some gruesome stuff on Facebook, and it's just getting worse and worse, where I use other social media platforms like Snapchat, where I just specifically look at my friends and don't get advertisements or reblog stuff and stuff like that.
I'm just waiting for the Facebook serial killer. I'm telling you.
Like the Craigslist killer?
No, I've thought about this for a while. I wanted to write a horror book about it, but I'll just give it away on the podcast since I'm never going to get around to writing it. But no, imagine a serial killer that would record his murders on a live broadcast
Somebody
on
already
Facebook.
did that.
Somebody already did that?
I think so. Either he committed suicide or he was killing somebody on Facebook.
Jesus Christ.
Yeah, he did Facebook Live. It was like the video was streaming and stuff like that while he did it.
Well, I know that those kids tortured that poor mentally handicapped, disabled kid. Yeah, you didn't hear about that?
No.
Let me see if I can find it.
Pretty bad.
Oh, was this like the southern state and it's like in front of a garage or something?
Yeah.
Okay.
No.
That was
they
something
lured
else.
they lured this kid. They lured a mentally disabled kid to. They call him a man, but he was only 18 years old. So they lured him. They lured him from a McDonald's. Who's a friend of theirs to like back to their house, and they basically beat the crap out of him. And the guys that it was supporting the Black Lives Matter movement, and just like kicked the shit out of him and like said racial epithets to him and everything for like. Because it was, he was a white guy, and his friends were like claimed to be supporting Black Lives Matter, and
Look up Facebook Live murder. I wonder if it was a murder or a suicide. I don't know. It was something really effed up, but it's I don't know. Can we get off the subject?
not that BLM is in any way associated with this crime. I don't think they are. I mean that like it says down here that was pushed by it was everybody denounced it, and right-wing commentators suggested it was a subversive thing, but basically the kids decided they were going to kidnap and torture somebody, and
Facebook Live.
and Facebook Live, and they used like their political status to try to say, oh, it wasn't really this, it was a big protest argument, and I'm just like, as a civil defense in court, and it was just ridiculous. Look, I think
people so bad. Like, what goes in your heart to make you want to do something like that?
I don't know.
It's really sad.
On December 8th, 2000. So this is just last month.
No, this was December 31st, 2016.
No. The conviction.
Oh, the conviction.
Pled guilty to charges of committing a hate crime, intimidation, aggravated battery. Additional charges such as kidnapping were dropped as part of the plea deal. Sentenced to 4 years of probation and 200 hours of community service.
That's it?
What?
Well, that's what you get with plea deals.
Were they minors?
Cook County Circuit, yeah, they were younger people. One was 24, one was 18, and one was 24.
No, I think I should have got jail time.
Cook County Circuit Judge William Hook said that he could have sentenced her to prison, but did not because I'm not sure if I did that, you'd be coming out any better. Which is a kind of a shitty argument for not sending somebody to prison, but...
Yeah.
I don't know.
Yeah.
Anyway, let's try to find something a little more...
Find something funny, please. This is...
Here's something uplifting. So this guy... was looking for a kidney transplant, so he wore I need of a kidney, O positive, call this number to Walt Disney World, and somebody posted on social media, and voila, got his kidney transplant.
That's so heartwarming.
I know.
There are good people. There's good people and bad people.
Leibowitz suffered from chronic kidney disease and was going to dialysis 3 days a week. He had been needing a kidney for 3 years.
Ooh.
Yeah, the wait list is really long.
That's...
Within the first week of 90,000 Facebook shares. So Facebook can be used for good purposes.
Yeah.
Aside from cat videos and family arguments. 3 days walking around the park, my phone would not stop ringing. So a bunch of people lined up to help this guy.
Wow.
It is kind of sad, though, that it took a guy wearing a shirt to Walt Disney World and becoming a hit on Facebook for him to get the...
Well, it's not like they have... It's not like they have like a national database of... I mean, I don't think they have a database of donors. I don't think they do. I think it's just a waiting list.
It is just a waiting list, I believe.
But I mean, people can volunteer their kidneys.
Yeah, but it takes a lot. Like, after you donate a kidney, I believe you can't do any vigorous sports for up to 5 years after. Like, you can't do roller coasters, you can't do, like, vigorous sports. Like, there's a lot of stuff that you do, and it takes a lot. I mean, you're going under surgery, and you also have to be in pretty good health to give it, too. And not everybody's in that position. And it's scary. A lot of people don't like going under the knife. I mean, they have a shortage of blood donations, let alone kidneys and eyeballs and skin and all that stuff.
Oh yeah, there was an article that I was reading that like apparently there's an aftermarket for I donated. I'm a donor for everything pretty much because it doesn't matter to me. I mean, I don't need my corpse intact, thanks. But
yeah.
But apparently there's this second aftermarket of people that come in and get like all the after tissues and things like that, and they do all types of weird shit with them. Like, you don't even want to know. Like, it's mostly for the cosmetic surgery industry and for like testing and stuff.
Yeah, or like cause it's mostly cosmetics, so like they'll test it on the skin and test it on the tissues and stuff like that, and inject it with things or like Botox and all that stuff just to see if the stuff's toxic, how the skin reacts, all that stuff, how it looks. It's weird. I believe after you donate your body, the aftermarket stuff, either they mail it back to you in a box, I believe. I don't know. My mom was talking about it, but it's weird. They mail it back. They mail the rest of your body to whoever. To
dispose of it?
To either cremate it or bury it. So they take what they need.
Forget it. I don't need any of my parts back. Just send them out.
Yeah.
I don't know. Well,
yeah, I'm a donor, so.
Yeah.
Well, here's a segment I'm calling "Good News, Bad News," or in this case, "Why Canada Rocks and America is Losing." So, amid questions about an affair, Greitens proposes $68 million in higher ed cuts. So this Missouri governor Eric Greitens, or Greitens, I'm not sure how to pronounce his name, made his first public appearance in nearly 2 weeks since acknowledging an extramarital affair, announcing a budget plan that would slice at least $68 million from public colleges and universities. So, it's a great time to cut our research and development division in this country when we're falling behind China in our research grants and our scientific advancement. So it's a wonderful time, don't you think?
Totally.
When we're in desperate need of scientific solutions to serious world problems.
This podcast is making me feel so great right now.
Well, that's the bad news. Good news, Canada is spending $50 million to teach K-12 students and their teachers coding. So kids are learning computer science, and so are teachers.
And there's a girl in the photo.
And there's a girl in the photo. Yeah, computer science is this field that was created by women. So it really upsets me when people say like, "Oh, girls aren't good at math or girls aren't interested in math." I'm like, COBOL, invented by a woman. First programmer, woman.
Really?
Oh yeah, Ada Lovelace. Yeah, so But
did you see the article about Australia and the Great Barrier Reef?
No.
Oh, Australia is devoting like $68 million or something to restoration efforts for the Great Barrier Reef because it's been going through a bunch of bleaching.
No shit.
But most of the money is going towards something that has been proven not to reverse effects.
Oh, really?
And something they've already put like $50 million towards last year.
Well, the last prime minister,
more towards it.
I can't remember the prime minister's name, but the previous prime minister of Australia before this administration, the guy was literally a Captain Planet villain. I mean, I don't know how to describe it. They were taking solid waste and just dumping it in the Great Barrier Reef.
What?
Like you got this vast desert with no one living in it and hardly any life in it, and that you can use as a landfill. But no, we're gonna ship it to the Great Barrier Reef and just dump it because nobody wants it in their backyard. I'll actually look it up.
Man, I have bad eyesight. I can't even see that.
ban dredge dumping. Oh, so they were dredging and dropping the dredge spoil on the barrier reef. So that makes sense. So when they were making canals and culverts and things like that.
That's still really bad.
That's still really bad. So Canada.
Australia
good
doesn't
on
care
them.
about the Great Barrier Reef.
So our Canadian friends are getting $50 million while one of our states is losing 68. The Show Me State on top of that. Here's something interesting. Archaeologists find 2,100-year-old city on the Silk Road using a remote sensing technique.
Huh.
So they basically took, I'm not sure if it was a satellite or what, but they took these aerial images and they could identify this ancient city just by what was left in the divots and things in the terrain.
Yeah. They've been doing that in a lot of places.
Yeah, in the Amazon, they found a bunch of civilizations like that. Like Lost City of Z is the name of the movie in the book that. I can bring it up.
I really hope the microphone isn't picking up the whale noises that my stomach is making right now.
The whale noise?
But whales are great. I love whales.
You like a lot of animals.
No, I don't.
Yes, you do.
I hate dogs. I hate cats. I hate...
You don't hate dogs and cats. You love dogs and cats.
You're right. I'm just trying to sound like a mean person for no reason.
Okay, here's another pair of articles where the spin is real. So according to this article, Science Alert, China just overtook the U.S. in scientific output for the first time. But, in reality, most of China's scientific research papers that we're counting to make this overtaking happen are fraudulent and stolen from other researchers. So, you know, on the one hand, it sounds like everything's going really bad for us. This year's report shows a trend that the U.S. still leads by many S&T measures, but our lead is decreasing in certain areas that are important to our country. In 2016, China published over 426,000 scientific studies, of about 18.6% of international total. For the first time ever, the U.S. came in second, notching up 409,000 papers. But as this article reports, fraudulent papers are on the rise. So, you know, it's like, do you want to be taken seriously as a competitive superpower or not? You know?
Oof. Oof.
In April, a scientific journal retracted 107 biology research papers, the vast majority of them written by Chinese authors, after evidence emerged that they had faked glowing reviews of their articles. So again, this is using social media to fluff up and create hubbub where there is none. Then this summer, a Chinese gene scientist who runs celebrity status from breakthroughs once trumpeted as Nobel Prize worthy was forced to retract his research when other scientists failed to replicate his results. A similar thing happened in Korea with cloning technology a couple years ago. So, you know, people in the this is one thing I like about us in our country is that cheaters tend not to win in the U.S. When they get found out, they're not taken seriously anymore.
Yeah.
But you know, it seems like our chief competitor here doesn't exactly have those values compared to us. I don't know. Anything you guys got to add to that?
Sometimes the cheaters do seem to win, though.
How so?
I mean, look at
the Patriots. I'm not a football fan, but
no, I'm saying like, never mind.
If you ain't cheating, you ain't trying. Here's another thing. There are a bunch of articles about China in the news today. So I have a bunch of articles about China. China bans hip hop music and hip hop culture from all
and tattoos from television.
and tattoos from television and from radio.
What's
from
wrong with that stuff?
no more rapping, and these guys are pretty tame apparently. Like Wang Hao, aka PG1, well-known rapper, was forced to apologize earlier this month after one of his songs, Christmas Eve, was criticized for promoting drug culture and insulting women. Isn't that like every hip hop song? I mean, aside from like, you know.
Yeah.
No, I'm just joking. I like hip hop. I'm coolin' with it.
Sure you are, James.
Let's see if we can listen to some of Wang Hao's obscene music here. If this is what it is, I might be just a news article about it. Oh, it's only 40 seconds long.
Gotta press play.
Oh, it's not working.
Wah, wah, wah.
Wah, wah.
We need that button too.
I like a sponge. I just want to soak up the culture as much as I can. I've been learning for 3 years. 如果有机会，为什么不突破、不挑战？
任何事情也不会耽误我练歌。
重新的认识李圣杰的声音。
我只要站上去，我就知道自己是谁，我也会让别人知道我是谁。
音乐这两个字永远在我的名字之上。
首战迷局，谁将先生？
And this guy was doing pretty well on it. And now he can't appear on it anymore because the government's decided to restrict freedom of expression for him.
That's what I do like about like places like America and
Canada
and stuff like that, is that we can kind of say whatever we want to say.
Exactly.
I mean, there's ratings and stuff like that, and you can't like swear at a little kid's show, but that's about the limit.
Yeah. Well, PG1, if you're out there and you catch a hold of this podcast, the Exit Earth podcast supports your right to freedom of expression. So,
yeah.
Somebody tag him in it.
Yeah, no matter how many how restricted, I mean, how bad your rapping is, if it's bad, or how horrible your lyrics are.
I've seen to say what you want.
I've seen some pretty bad cringe raps, so I don't know.
And you have the right. You should have the right to say what you want.
All right.
To most extents.
These are two quick articles, I guess. Not much to say, but so TTP, the big deal that was part of the reason that Hillary Clinton lost the election because of her support for TTP. That would, or arguably, I would say. Is going ahead anyway without us. So our defiant stance on this massive trade deal in Asia is basically going to go on, and China is dictating what the rules of this negotiation treaty is. So great job, Trump administration. Now we don't even get a say in this crappy treaty that we shouldn't have signed anyway. I can't really blame Donald Trump though, because it's not like it was a good deal anyway for the United States. It was a shitty deal for us too. But a shitty deal we have a say in versus a shitty deal we don't have a say in, I don't know. I don't know where to come down on that.
I don't know enough about it to make a valid opinion.
Well, Canada at least is pushing for defending their intellectual property, which was one of the big things the U.S. was pushing for, is that our patents and our IPs are still protected instead of being copied by China all the time.
Mm-hmm.
So at least Canada is still trying to fight the big fight, but now it's pretty much going to be in the hands of our competition. This one really bothered me. Trump has new tariffs on solar panels, 30% tariff on solar panels coming in from China. Like I said, there's a lot of news about China today. So basically, this is going to screw over our solar industry here in this country.
Oof.
Because we can't buy cheap, because the cheap effective solar we were getting isn't really going to work anymore. The guys is that we'll build them ourselves, but I can tell you for a fact, we're sitting in the Rust Belt in Detroit, we don't build anything here anymore. It doesn't seem like it.
They keep saying, let's stop importing, let's build our own stuff, but we don't have the manufacturing we used to have anymore.
Right.
And we just don't.
And I'm going into conspiracy territory here, but part of me wonders if this is just a backhanded deal for the oil companies to keep them and coal companies especially to keep them relevant.
Oh yeah, totally.
I mean, it's.
I wouldn't be surprised at all.
You're like, who cares? Big deal.
No, not who cares? Big deal. Like, you might be right. You might be wrong. We'll never know.
It's a conspiracy theory.
I wouldn't be surprised though.
I wouldn't be surprised. Now, I'm really close to the camera. I was like right here. Oh my god, I was leaning up because I was trying to look at you. Oh wow, that's gonna be a beautiful stream. What time is it, by the way?
That's about an hour, so that's about a good show.
Yeah.
Anything you guys want to add on our topics that we've covered today?
No.
Don't be stupid.
Be a good
person.
Make
good decisions.
I think that's good. Oh, you're doing like a triple loopy thing.
Do what Charlie Chaplin would do.
Infinity.
All right, that covers it for this Exit Earth Tuesday cast. This is about half the length of our normal show. So today we talked about a lot of issues in the news with China, and we talked about self-driving cars, and we talked about what was our big idea. We didn't really have a big idea for today.
No, but there was also schools.
Yeah, this a lot of stuff with schools. So our normal time is on Thursdays at 7:00. And this Thursday, we're going to be talking about non-human intelligence, what our furry, scaled, and feathered friends think and know and feel. Like my friend, the squirrel here. What does he think and feel and know? We will find out on Thursday together. And we'll find out just how close we are to the Planet of the Apes and how doomed we are when octopi take over the world. So.
Yeah, I plan on selling out the human race.
So that just does it for this episode of the Exit Earth podcast. I hope you enjoyed watching. If you did, please follow us on Twitch, and we also have if you go to our Facebook page, you can find our link to our YouTube page. Please like us there, share with your friends, leave comments, and if you hated us, leave comments, dislike us. Any feedback's good feedback.
Yeah.
It's nice to know somebody was watching.
This is only like our what? Third show.
This is our third show, our first show of release to Twitch. So, so there you go. Have a good night, everybody.
Night.
All right, we have stopped streaming.